Alright, I'm live now.
I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat.
Yosh.
You know I'll come running.
Okay, this should be good. There we go. And, gosh darn it. Oh. Here on me. There we go. Wish I knew how to go to my stream here. This. Let's watch me.
And the ground's filled up with landmines. We will face it, standing side by side. You know I'll come running.
Freaking mute myself. Hey, nice to see you, buddy. I'm trying to make it so I can look at chat while I do this. I'm so confused. Oh, and there we go, yeah. I don't know why I didn't think to use external volume controls. But it's nice to see you there, Rusty. How are you doing tonight? So, what skill level do you have? My crow is 3, which is what? So, I'm not sure, have you ever played Diablo before? Let's see, how many ravens? 5, okay. Good to see you live. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. I got done work and stuff. Yeah, it's nice to be live. I was streaming a while ago. I haven't in a while because I lost the computer that I was playing the game on. I was streaming Dark Souls, so I lost all my progress, and I'm not the hugest Dark Souls fan, so I was like, I'm done. Can't keep on doing that. You've been fine? That's awesome. But yeah, I have been streaming on Twitch. But that said, especially since I don't have a whole lot of time for streaming and things, especially as I go back into school, it's like, you know what? I probably should just focus on the one thing. In this case, YouTube. Like, as much as I like doing Twitch, and I feel bad because I can make money off Twitch, but I haven't utilized it. So I really wanted to do stuff with it. But unfortunately, like, it's just not feasible for me to do both YouTube and Twitch and school and things. So I probably will just be streaming on YouTube or just focus more on the one channel and go from there. It's a shame, because I was also thinking of starting another YouTube channel where I'd be doing things other than Let's Plays, kind of diversify. And as much as I'd like to do that, it is, again, time consuming. If I'm already talking about cutting back from the 2 channels to 1, like, why would I want to do another channel? Because then I'm just kind of back to square one. Not that I don't necessarily It's not that I wouldn't necessarily want to do that, but it's definitely a time-consuming thing. But yeah. Have you played Diablo before? Ooh, that's a lot more armor. Yeah, that's not great. So I'll just save it. No, I didn't want to grab the thing that I grabbed. But I am doing a Raven build, sort of as a challenge. But not really, because this is a mod, so it's not quite the same as playing vanilla. But in the vanilla Diablo, I created this build sort of as a challenge to myself. Druids are my favorite class, hands down. So I've made a lot of them, I've played a bunch of them, and most of my build ideas come from Druid stuff, like what can I do with the Druid this time? One of the builds though, and the one that I'm doing right now, is focused on the Druid's worst skill, which is crows, or ravens, as they're technically called. So ravens in vanilla, they're rather weak, and they only last for a certain amount of hits, and they go away, but the thing is you can summon a few of them, and they can't get damaged. So, no matter what, even boss attacks and stuff like that, they won't die. They will exist until they do a number of attacks, and then disappear. So, the build that I came up utilizes, let's see, ravens, but also werewolf, and specifically rabies. So rabies is poison. So it's a persistent damage build where you summon a bunch of ravens and then you just kind of like stand back, let them do their thing. One of the things about ravens in the vanilla Diablo is that they can cause blindness. So this ends up actually being a rogue build for the druid, where you kind of just hang back in werewolf form, and you let your ravens peck at the things until they're weak, and then you kind of just run in and you bite them with rabies and you run away again. And then you just let the DOTs do their work. And I feel like people don't know how to utilize ravens, which is kind of why they got a bad rap. But I won't lie, in terms of how much you need to invest into ravens to keep them useful as you go through the game, and the mana cost of the build and stuff, I don't think it would be feasible past normal difficulty, which is fair. Won't need to dump too much into energy. I'm just going to dump one more. I'm mostly going to focus on like dex and strength. And right now, my goal is to get Raven to 10. So this is a mod. This is not vanilla Diablo. So how they've changed the ravens is they have made it so ravens are more useful. And what they did to ravens is they made it so ravens they do cold damage as well. So they just flat increase the damage. You summon more from the get-go. You can summon more as the cap, because in traditional Diablo, the cap was 6, and you can summon up to 12. Now, it means initially, ravens cost more mana than they do in Diablo 2. But with every 10 levels you've invested into your ravens, you summon an additional one. And since the cap's at 12, what that means is as soon as you reach level 10, you only need to cast ravens 6 times, in order to have a full thing, which is comparable to what it is in original Diablo, because 6 was the cap. And honestly, once you get that, it's not hard to keep a full Thane of Ravens that will do their thing. They only last for 5 hits in this mod, as opposed to original Diablo. One of the things that increased about Ravens was the amount of hits that they would do before they disappeared. So you only have 6, but you could make it so they're doing like 20 or so hits before they disappeared. So it wasn't that mana costly as you went on. And you would just like summon 6, and then you would wait a few, and then you would summon your 6 again, and then you'd have a full set of Ravens. Pretty much constantly, that were just literally pecking the enemies to death. Now, Ravens are low damage, and they're still kind of low damage, even in this mod. But what makes them, well, nice, I mean, for one, they replace blindness with cold damage, which is just more useful in general, because cold does have a status effect of slowing, but it's not limited to mobs. It can impact bosses. So that already is an increase. Usefulness. The only 5 hits is kind of rough, especially as you're leveling up, because as you notice, my Ravens do not last long. That is okay. Because it's rough to begin with, and then it becomes perfectly manageable. I just need to get Ravens to 10. So that's just going to be my focus for the time being. But as you can see, I honestly don't need to do a whole lot with Ravens. I'm actually going in more than I need to. I can just kind of hang back and let my Ravens kill things. So this build is like a build that you do when you want things to die off screen. Oh, I forgot to mention another thing that makes it so in the mod this build's actually more feasible, which is all melee damage is splash damage. All of it. So it might be 5 hits technically, but if they're hitting a group of enemies, the attack economy is actually better. Because you cap off at 80 total hits with your Ravens, with 12 times 5 or whatever. Why would 12 times? Oh, right, because that's not even 20. So, as opposed to like 100 something that you can get in traditional Diablo. Or vanilla, I should say. Go on, Ravens, do your work. But look at that. Things just die. And admittedly, yeah, they're doing more damage and they're hurting groups of enemies, which they normally wouldn't be doing. So they're kind of really good at crowd management, I should say. Oh! Ouch! Run! Run! Okay, we're fine. Okay, I need to drink another. Until I get the thing, it's going to be rough going, where I just have to keep summoning my Ravens and mana costly, and it's like, oof. But that's okay, it honestly doesn't take that long to get to a point with the Ravens where it's like wrecking house. Doesn't cost you a whole lot of mana to summon all of your 12 Ravens. And that's like 12 Ravens that are all doing AoE splash damage with cold and physical. Again, this is the build for killing things, but not even being there. I shouldn't be summoning the full 6 all the time, though. Leveled up again. Okay, we're at 5, we're halfway there. Now we have 7 ravens. I love this. I also just love it for aesthetic purposes. Because look, I just kind of march around and things die. I'm not even breaking a sweat. Though that said, like, I don't know how this compares to other builds that you can have. I don't think it's the most broken build or anything. I just think that people... I don't know. I definitely just... I don't want to pick on people in general. Or just like jump on the whole bandwagon about like, oh, people are so blank. Because I don't feel that. But I will say, like, in terms of shape-shifting, and even heck this build with the Ravens, I just don't think that people know how to utilize those skills as efficiently. Because, like, shape-shifting with druids, not specifically Diablo, but in general, has always just been kind of like, eh. Shape-shifting in general, people are like, eh. In most games, occasionally they'd be like, oh yeah, it's awesome. But they're like, no, shape-shifting's kind of meh, because you can't cast magic. Like in Dragon Age Origins, people were like, shape-shifting's meh. Shape-shifting in Dragon Age Origins was legit. Because for one thing, you could throw on your staff. If you had your staff when you shapeshifted as your weapon, what that would do is make it so when you were in shapeshift form,
Good day.
When you were in shapeshift form, you wouldn't mess. So it essentially allowed you to make a character. Ooh, that's not bad. 3 to 6. 1 to 6. Yeah, that's better. Oh, heck yeah, that's a lot better. No, I didn't want to sell that. Nah, I'm still not good enough to buy back and waste all that money. Good. Ooh. Oh, it's only 2 to 5. It's probably faster though. Fast attack speed? Nah, it's not. Ooh, that wouldn't be bad for me. It would increase my health and stuff like that. 104% damage. Damn. That's undead killer right there. But still not really worth it. Worth it to sell it though. I just got 5. Look how much cash money you got. 15,000. 1 to mana. Not worth it. 1 to mana. Not really worth it.
Every time we say
One to dexterity.
they all see that it's a lie. 'Cause we always give it one last try. Yeah, you've watched me break 1,000 times. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. That's how it goes. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy, happy tonight. Can't be waiting for you in the morning. I'ma leave without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a. But every time we say goodbye, we all
Wow,
know
I'm
that
almost at
it's a
20,000.
lie. Now I'm all
Not going to break it unless I, even if I did sell it, I wouldn't break it.
you say you will.
Still, like, especially since I was buying a bunch of identify scrolls, I didn't do bad there. Like 20,000.
I just wanna be happy.
What you need?
Ooh, not bad.
Happier tonight. Can't be waiting for you in the morning. I'ma leave without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a. So every time we say goodbye, we all know that it's a lie. I just wanna be happy.
There we go.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me kept me afloat. It felt like heaven. I found my bones. Really comfort when nothing left.
Ooh, I got a charm. I wonder if it's a good luck charm. Let's see what does it do. 20 max stamina. That's alright. Oh, I got it right. And now I'm out of identifies.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me.
This song's kind of a downer. It's like I lost my best friend at 23. Though I don't think it was to like death or something. Maybe. The trick is you don't have to resummon all of them at once. I usually like to do 3 or 4. Though that works better in the vanilla game where whatever. But eventually you get to the point where it doesn't matter. And in the mod, since you can summon 2 at once, it's like, I can do 6, no problem, and then I have a full set.
Best friend.
I don't know what to say, so now I'm just quiet. But yeah, honestly, I've been really enjoying this mod and this build with the mod. Because another thing that makes it kind of worth it and not too much of a mana drain is they changed how shapeshifting works, so I don't have a duration for my werewolf form. I am just in werewolf as soon as I shapeshift, which is nice, into the cold plane. So that was all just side content, but I like doing that for leveling up purposes. You don't get much of a chance to grind. And grinding wasn't a whole lot of a thing in old school games, so they didn't really think about it. Which is perfectly fine with me, because, like, well, grinding's grinding. I don't hate it. So I'm definitely a game that when I'm playing something I like, it's like for the mechanics of it. Like, I'm not really a person that seeks stuff for the story. I like having a story, though. Like, some of, I don't know how to say, least fun. That's kind of a weird way to put it. But yeah, like, the time that I hasn't the least amount of fun with Diablo 3 was I was just being powered leveled by my friend, but that we were doing like riffs and stuff, so there's no story. I get it, like, okay, I definitely do play Diablo for the mechanics more than the story. The story is like, whatever. I'm just going to drink the potion, like so. But that said, like, it gives meaning to your monster slaying, so without it there, it's just kind of like you're slaying a bunch of random monsters, which is kind of what Diablo is at its core. But the story definitely gives context or meaning to things, and I like that. So I absolutely hated it when I was just playing with my friend. We're doing riffs. My god, this is kind of whatever. Though there's some games like Borderlands, it's like whatever, but I guess technically the story's still there. So, the only reason why I bring that up is like, as a gamer, I'm not really like, no story. Like, I want a story there, but it's not necessarily my biggest focus. It's like, I want it there, be present, give meaning to what I'm doing, or like a direction, and then I'm just going to whatever. Because it's funny, like, it's like, I want the story there in Diablo 3, but as I was playing, I was just constantly skipping, like, the story bits. I'm like, come on, shut up already, let me get back to the action. Protect me, ravens. I mean, just look at that. Things die without my input. Heck, most of the time when I'm doing this build, I just kind of hang out back. I summon ravens and they do their thing. Now, there was another mod called Path of Diablo, which did some nice changes. Honestly, really broke characters, you know, kind of broke the balance of Diablo. That's besides the point. They made it so ravens were on a timer, and a very short timer at that, because Path of Diablo suggests, well, like as the name suggests, and people who are in the know, it's actually made by the same people who did Path of Exile, so it's kind of like a pet project of theirs, where they're just kind of like, yeah, we'll have some Diablo, you know, modded on the side and stuff like that. That said, it follows a lot of their design decisions, including they have a spell in Path of Exile that is a summon, but it's a summon attack, so you summon these little ghost spirits that attack things and then they disappear. But, I mean, they don't even attack the thing and disappear. they're on a timer. Literally like I was describing with the ravens. And they just turned the ravens into that. So like they upped the damage and made it so they were much more powerful, but they only lasted like a few seconds. So you'd summon a bunch when you were attacking something, they'd go and peck it, and you know, it was kind of like a summoner attack spell. And I hated it because instead of like me being followed around by these like murder crows, I was instead like, it felt like I was summoning crows for my hands. Be like, psh, and spray out a bunch of crows, and they kill the things, and that's that. And then they would just, as fast as they came, disappear. And I hated how that felt. Like, I like wandering around as this wolf, and then there's just a murder of ravens following me. I just feel like quite literally death. Jerk. Die. Oh! Oh, ouch! You did a lot of damage. Like, damn. Come on, ravens. Attack her, that's your job. Like, she didn't hit me. When I did this fight before, I kind of decimated her.
My army will destroy.
Nah, I want to destroy you, lady. Attack her. Please. There we go. Like, okay, you did a lot of damage to me in that one shot. Like, whew. If I had any less health, I'd be dead. What did I get that was yellow? Just got a few things that were yellow. Did I? Oh, the rains one. Required level 7. What level am I? 6. I'll be able to wear it next level. Ooh. Oh, that's not bad. That's really good actually for this build because, like I said, kind of a mana hoarding build, but if my ravens can get me back the mana, oh, that's dumb. That's ridiculous. I just hope that I don't have to be the one that does the kill.
Sink down in emotions, feel like I never did before. Life shows him spoken, reels of the movie I ignored. Blue skies on a broken sea and I'm stuck up on the shore. I never thought you could see me, but you did.
I can hardly believe.
All I know is we're here, that they took us
I'll put that
somewhere.
to good use.
So what they say we're called falling out of line. They don't know the truth of us. I'm calling blind, yeah.
It is clear. What do you mean?
I think I want to summon that. I'm not a huge fan of that one. This is an interesting song. That's a good shot. Ah, the boots for the yellow. Whoa. Oh yeah. Adds 3 to 6 fire damage. Like, look at that. Those are some kick butt boots.
Colorblind, yeah.
Socketed equipment is awesome. Oh. I want to take this stuff away from you. Because I want to replace you.
That tear in my eye drops on the floor alongside my speed.
I like how her name is like Blaze. I mean, it isn't like Blaze or whatever. But she has Cold Arrow as her thing. My equipment's breaking faster.
I can't use that.
How can you not use a cap? Now required level 7.
I'll take that to good
Okay.
use.
I never prayed to God.
Yes, you can.
I can't use that.
Oh, you can't? Fine. We'll use the other bow. MG, you can use the better bow.
Redemption
I mean, admittedly, the bow that she's using is honestly better. Because it has like 3 sockets. You just need to find those sockets. I mean, gems for those sockets. And like good ones. Oh yeah, I mentioned that I was streaming Dark Souls. What I realized after the fact is I had apparently had it so it was private. And I think I didn't set it that way, obviously. It's something about the default settings for YouTube. Just super aggravating. Yeah, I just want to stream to myself. No, it's really dumb. Bad. That will pay dividends once I reach 10, so I just gotta focus on it. Kinda stinks because it means I'm literally not doing anything else, but I mean, this game sort of was designed for you to focus on one or two skills. So, like, admittedly, in order to keep the Ravens useful, in the original, I was pretty much only investing in them. But that's all I really had to do, because, like, the werewolf was mostly there just to throw on rabies occasionally, and to make it so it was a little bit tougher, like didn't die in one hit. So I didn't need to invest a whole lot of it. Honestly, I was mostly investing in, like, Canthropy and rabies. Just to increase duration. With the rework that this mod does, I actually can focus more into the werewolf, because all like Canthropy does is increase the health and attack rating of my wereforms, which is nice, but not necessary. Look how many ravens I have, though. 8. It's ridiculous. You see that? One in here. Boom. Everything's dead. Heck, I didn't even need to run in here. I just did. This is definitely one of the ultimate builds. Maybe the only, well, not the only one. You'd have to do another summoning oriented one though. But just a build for, excuse me, having things die without you being there. But another good thing is, since I'm not like a magic-oriented druid or whatever, ultimately, I mean, it's a bit rough in the beginning, but even with a magic-oriented druid, I guess you don't invest a whole lot into energy. But I need to invest a little bit more than I did. But yeah, just as a shifter, you can focus more on your physical stats. So it's a bit like the opposite of D&D. Though the benefit is equal, which is that shape-shifting druids have a nice physical stats. It's just in D&D, you literally would focus on your casting stats just the same. Excuse me. But as a shifter, you literally don't have to worry about your physical stats because you just take on whatever stats your form has. Which can be both a good and a bad thing. Mostly good though, because you're like, okay, no strength for me, but I can just turn into a bear. I was a bit disappointed with how shape-shifting though works with vanilla 5e for druids. Okay. Admittedly, shape-shifting for a druid is mostly a utility, so you can use it for combat purposes. But for 5e, you essentially have to turn into beast, which is fine because you're supposed to be like a nature-oriented thing, and Wild Shape, as it's called, is supposed to be focused on animals. But, and while you keep your like class features, you can't cast spells right away. Excuse me. The thing about Wild Shape is you're limited to 2 times a day. And to your level 20. Like, literally, you have to get max level. Which, as implies being max level, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff that you have to do in order to finally make it so you're not forced into having 2 shifts a day. You actually have unlimited at that point, but like really you have to grind all the way up to whatever. Oh. Can I make myself run? Oh, I have it. I think I probably set it up at some point where oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice, because now I can just kind of do that. Like, I have a gaming controller, gaming mouse. So I have the additional buttons, which means that I can, well, for this I actually can just click on those additional buttons to make it so I run. Or highlight loop, which is nice because that means less things that I have to do with my keyboard. This ring might make it, so I just have unlimited rings. Kind of hoping for that. Okay, I've been streaming for about an hour.
touch out red. Damn, I wanna see the sunshine. It's getting to my head. One look in the mirror, don't like what I find.
Good day.
I know that somewhere in there there's a good guy, but he runs away at midnight.
I'll put that to good use.
There we go.
I'm sorry that I stole your car.
That's quite the lyric right there.
That don't mean shit to me. Maybe you should pull the alarm, so I don't take it way too far. Die before I'm 23. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. My siblings are perfect and I wish I were the same. Making bad decisions, it should be my middle name.
Sorry
I love
that
playing
I
with
stole
fire. It's
your
my favorite
car.
color. Watch about my whole house, do not feel a thing. One look in the mirror, don't
Alright, Ravens, you better give me energy when you kill stuff, because that's just gonna be awesome.
he runs away at midnight. I'm sorry that I stole your car.
Sorry that I stole your car.
Tattoos on my arm.
And got this tattoo on my arm.
Maybe you should pull the alarm, so I don't take it way too far. Die before I'm 23. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom.
I mean, on one hand, it's kind of funny. On the other, it's kind of serious too. It's like, dang. Especially that lyric, I'm sorry, Mom.
Well, this is what happens when I'm
Out of my medicine, there's collateral damage. I gotta go. I'm sorry that I stole your car. Ain't got those tattoos on my
I just love the image of this, like, this wolf walking with a whole murder. I don't know, there is definitely some imagery. That body moved, even though it was dead.
I'm sorry, Mom.
And not undead.
I'm sorry,
I forgot that I can do this. Oh, what level are you now? 3. Just now level 3? Can you use the bow? I can't. Probably not. Though. Oh, the music is done. Oh no, it's not done. It's just asking me if I want to continue. Hate it how YouTube does that. I guess, yeah, it's definitely to save bandwidth. But it just does it for music. It doesn't do it for videos, because often I'll like wake up, be like, oh man, I fell asleep watching this playlist. And now I'm like at the end of the playlist. Don't know what's going on, because I started episode 1 and now I'm on like episode 900. I mean, that's exaggeration. Slightly. Oh, what happened to my frickin' ravens? Gosh darn it. Yeah, I guess technically I don't need to have the full set. Which is true, but it's nice. Oh! Okay. It's nice having javelins to be my weapon of choice, because What can I think of words? Oh, it does seem that they're giving me my energy back. Awesome. Let me 7 more crows.
Standing on the edge of a cliff, realize there must be more to life than this. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from heaven's send. With me tonight, I run away.
But yeah, Javelin's a really nice, even as a melee character, because, well, technically it does less damage. The thing about Javelins is that their durability is actually their ammunition, so their durability doesn't go down unless. Unless you're throwing it. That took me a minute. I don't even know what I got distracted with. I'm just like running around doing nothing. I like the side quest.
And so
Relish shit because that doesn't happen a lot. That's the way. And I just leveled up, which 30 strength, not bad. Now we have 7. So you can summon a total of 10 ravens over there. Oh no, 9. But still, what? Just look how many ravens I have. Look how ridiculous this is. The only thing is, like, okay, it's broken compared to the original Diablo, but it may not be broken in terms of the balance of this mod. It may still be kind of on the lower end of builds. But I feel like ravens were just really not understood. Like shapeshifting. Like, okay, yes, shapeshifting keeps you from using magic. Like, let's just use Dragon Age Origins as an example. But like I said, I made it so you could always hit. So you could fight revenants. You could be like a tank that could go up. And the thing about revenants is that they had this aura that made it very hard to hit them in combat. But they are also resistant or outright immune to most kinds of magic. So it's really hard to just do any damage on them. But the thing is, you could be a shapeshifter, you could go into like bear and run up and smack them. Another thing is that they did pulls, which, you know, kind of stinks, especially if you're a squishy mage. But instead of pulling you, if you were shapeshifted, it would just knock you on the ground. So, like, I mean, that's still detrimental, especially if you were next to him already. But Not as bad as being pulled when you didn't want to be pulled. And yeah, admittedly, like in spider form, you're still resistant to a lot of your stuff. And oh, and then what is it? Swarm form, you know, that was pointless against revenants because they're immune to the poison damage again. But bear form was just perfectly fine. And I mean, you could combine it with Arcane Warrior. Now, Arcane Warrior was considered one of the best subclasses for a perfectly good reason, because it's like, well, you combine the best elements of the shapeshift, but you can stay in human form. Like, they got spells that just made it so you couldn't hit them. But that said, like, there's still some good utility with shapeshifts. Like, for example, the swarm form, literally immune to archers. So there was this fight later on in the game that was even described as you're supposed to lose this fight, but as a frickin' shapeshifter, or even arcane warrior, it was pretty ridiculously easy. Especially as a shapeshifter, because you just go into your swarm, and the hardest thing about that fight was there's a bunch of archers and they couldn't hit you. So you just ran up to them and then you just kind of stun them to death. And the thing about shapeshifting, which people didn't really appreciate, is that you'd form bounce. Okay, so what I mean by form bounce is, in human form, you had life, but, you know, life and mana. Oh, excuse me. I guess it only really impacted the... Please get me, ravens. They're doing a lot of damage to me. I mean, they do have a curse that makes it so they do more damage, but... Technically makes it so I take more damage, but you know what I mean. Alright. So I have been streaming for over an hour. Thank you so much for joining me. I feel like I am just going to call the stream here. Yeah. All I want to say is, like, shapeshifting can be awesome. Oh, yeah, the form bouncing thing. I do want to explain that before I go. So, you would get hurt, right, as a mage, and your life would go down, and then you would just shapeshift into the swarm, which allowed you to have mana in place of your life. So your mana would still be rather up there or whatever, and you'd shapeshift into the thing, and then you would hurt them to get your life back. It would eventually bonk you out of the swarm, which wouldn't kill you because, again, it's your mana. And then you just kind of rinse, wash, and repeat. As I say it out loud, I can see the error in my logic. I don't think it would work that way because, for one, it would require you not casting spells before you went into your shapeshift, which is never going to happen. I may have just gave you full. Yeah, I don't think it was your current mana. I think it was your max mana when you were shapeshift into the swarm. That was your health. but maybe I am wrong about that. And if I am wrong about that, yeah, I can see how that's just kind of but it still was a decent way to get your life back, kind of a thing. So, and yeah, you can't cast magic, but the forms had special things about them and whatever. And if you were a healing or buffing mage, like, excuse me, you could do your buffs before you shapeshift. That said, you could just balance up the utilities of your shapeshifts. So oh, my light's not on. I'm probably in complete darkness. Sorry about that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, let's look. Oh yeah, I'm really hard to see. A professional YouTuber here. Hold on a second, I'll turn on my light. I mean, I know I'm wrapping up, but still. So yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was still fine. There's uses for the shapeshifts and stuff like that that weren't given credit. But now I'm just rambling. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this bit of Dragon's Treasure. Pretend I like is a mic. Drop it. If you haven't already, appreciate if you showed that sub button some love. And don't forget, sharing is caring.